Hey family. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna split branches on this one. I don't know if it's gonna be 3 videos or 4. Um, I'm glad I get to wear this shirt though, because this is the shirt I wanted to wear when talking about my mom. Even though she likes lighter shades of blue, this is my shade of blue. So yeah, so we went from my mom, her parents, my mother's parents. Okay, so we talked about Grandma Maddie. So this is where it starts to branch off. My great grandfather, my mother's maternal grandfather, Grandpa Ira. He was born in Metropolis, Illinois. Yeah, I don't want to just say Metropolis. Yeah, y'all gonna be thinking Superman. I think they do have a Superman monument down there, but it ain't the same. He was born in Metropolis, Illinois. The only child. I find that a miracle, just with the time and with the age of my great great grandmother. He's an only child, but he had 4 kids, and out of those 4 kids, only my uncle and my grandmother had kids. Yeah, that's a miracle. Yeah, wow. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just like kind of taking that in. But yeah, so yeah, Grandma Minnie. Okay, so here we go, because here's some roadblocks coming. Grandma Minnie was born in Kentucky. I know as a child, she ended up in Metropolis, but she came out of Paducah or near Paducah. Yeah, I don't, I've got 2 binders of records, and I think I dedicated 1 binder just to my mother's maternal grandfather's branch, because there's just so many records, which I'm grateful for. I'm so grateful for it. But then you get the roadblocks, and yeah. So yeah, Grandpa Iris. And again, I have to name names so I can keep it together in my head while I'm doing this for y'all, or for me. I mean, it's probably more for me than it is for like anybody. So his mom, born in Kentucky, if not in Paducah, close to Paducah. And I found her parents' marriage record. Unfortunately, that marriage record did not list their parents, or maybe it was her marriage record I found and it had the parents listed. So yeah, Molly Griffin and a Balti Tyler, in or near Paducah, Kentucky. So those 2 third great grandparents are the roadblock. Yeah. So then Grandpa Willie, Grandpa Iris' father, this is where I can go back the farthest. His father, Thomas Buchanan, is a roadblock. And that's like, that's like the predominant maiden name in my family, and I can't find Thomas Buchanan's parents. The only lead that I really have is in Metropolis. Their records office, they've been really good to me, because I would just like send requests and they would send information back. So big ups to Metropolis Records Office. I didn't attempt to ask for anything in 2020. One, I was pregnant. All my creative energy was keeping a baby alive and inside me. but they probably would have been short-staffed anyway. And I think like the first time I called them, they're like, yeah, there's an election going on and we just don't have the staff to do it. So it's small anyway, and I can't imagine what they were going through 2020 and maybe even 2021. But they've been good to me, and they've sent me a lot of records, and they found me my Auntie Lodi's birth certificate, even when they couldn't find the birth records of like the other people that I asked for, because they were like, well, we noticed the names were the same, so we just decided to send it to you. Wow. So they're good. They were really good. And I was been able to find a lot of information, but I think my last, it may be my last, because, it was like 2 to 3 generations in Metropolis, Illinois, before they moved up to East St. Louis. But then after they had like all moved there from Tennessee and Kentucky. And I think that's probably why and how my great-great-grandparents maybe got together, because so while my mother's side came out of Tennessee, my mother, well, not my mother, yeah, it's a lot of names. I'm so sorry. It's a lot of generations, and I don't want to like skip, but my mother's maternal grandmother's mother, they came out of Tennessee. My mother's paternal grandfather's parents came out of Kentucky. So Grandma Minnie came out of like Paducah-ish. Grandpa Willie was also born in Metropolis. So he's the first generation born in Metropolis, Illinois. His parents, I couldn't find his dad. So I don't know where his father was born. And I think so this is why I started talking about Metropolis Records Office. The only lead I can think of is requesting a 50-year span of death records, because he was obviously alive when Grandpa Willie was conceived, but Grandpa Willie's mother died a widow, so he died before she did. And it's like a 50-year span, and I don't want to feel bad, but it's like I've got no other leads. I couldn't find a single census record on them. So my third great grandfather, Thomas Buchanan, is a roadblock. Grandma Minnie's parents, my third great grandparents, they're roadblocks. Grandpa Willie's mother, this is how far back I can go. So yeah, I can get this done in this video, because that's what roadblocks will do for you. They shorten the videos. So Grandpa Willie's mother, she was a Mary Ellen Woods. Oh crap. No, she was born in Kentucky. I'm sorry. Yeah, because ever since I've been looking, I knew Grandpa Willie was the first generation born in Metropolis. She was born in Kentucky, central Kentucky, Caldwell County, Hopewell, if I'm remembering my paperwork correctly. That's where she was born and raised until she was maybe 13, or she was about 14 when she had Grandpa Willie. And yeah, so I think they got together because he came out of Kentucky. Well, yeah, Grandpa Willie came out of Kentucky. Grandma Minnie came out of Kentucky. So they were probably like two Kentucky. Well, he didn't come out of Kentucky, but his parents did. So they probably just got to talking. She's from Kentucky. His parents are from Kentucky. They're both in Metropolis. So let's make a baby. That's the hunch I got. That's the message I'm getting from the ancestors. They had Kentucky in common, and they were really young. They probably, they did what teenagers still do. So yeah. So Grandpa Willie's mom, Mary Ellen Woods, Hopewell in Caldwell County, Kentucky. Um, yeah, so I guess she would have, if Grandpa Willie was born in 1871, she was about 14. So she would have been born pre-Civil War. Um, and at first, so at first I found her parents earlier in my research. I was like, ooh, this looks good, but I don't want to put too much faith in it because, what if it's somebody with the same name and you start going down the rabbit hole and it's not even your people. So I just sort of like put it in the back of my mind, set it off to the side, and took a break from research. And then when I restarted my research, I saw that I was looking for another set of grandparents' marriage records in Metropolis, and I found what I was looking for. But then it was like July of whatever year this was, and there was like a July date and one set of people. I was looking for like a great grandparents or great great grandparents marriage record, and like verified it. And then I kind of looked, because they sent me like like a copy of the ledger, and I kind of saw these familiar names, and it turned out that like the great great grandparents who couldn't raise my grandmother and aunt because they already had a lot of kids, one of those, their children, because they had a lot of kids, it looked like sisters got married like 3 or 4 days apart, and they married the baby brother of my third great grandmother. Like, oh. And then I'm looking at the names. I'm like, oh, I got to go find that census record. And that was how I verified the census record. And it was like, I wasn't looking. I was looking for somebody else. And it just so happened these sisters got married several days apart. And their names were like 3 or 4 names apart on the ledger. And the names matched up with the census. Like, oh, those are my 4th great grandparents. So Mary Ellen Woods was born to Lucinda Hobson. That's her maiden name. I don't remember how I found it, but I found Lucinda Hobson and John Woods. And John Woods is so freaking common. I found so many white men named John Woods born in Kentucky at the same time. It's such a common name. So it's really hard. And my John Woods might have come out of Virginia, but it's like, I don't know, I need to verify. Like, I don't want to just jump on the first thing that says, this is it, because there's just so many people. And like Ancestry.com, they'll be sending you hints about white people. Like, these ain't my people. My people ain't white. Now, if they're like mulatto, colored, okay, but don't send me records about white people. And like, I already put their racial classification in the so I'm sorry, but they're gonna, if you're black, they're gonna send you records about white people who are like younger than living grandparents. Like, no. So I'm sorry about that tangent. But yeah, so I verified my 4th great grandparents through a marriage record. It's like you're going to find some miracles. You go deep, you're going to find some. Like when my mother still had my Papa Austin's obituary from 73 sitting in her basement in 2018. And then you look up, you request a marriage record for one set of great grandparents, and you verify your 4th great grandparents because sisters got married several days apart in July of 1920, whatever. So when I found that census, it was an 1870 census record. So before my grandpa Willie was born, I don't know if it was Metropolis yet or if it was Kentucky, but I know, like, the birthplace was Kentucky. That was listed on there. And that 1870 record had the whole family. And I think that's why when I first found it, I was like, nah. But when I verified the names, I'm like, okay, this is it. The whole family was classified as mulatto. Fourth great grandfather John Woods, fourth great grandmother Lucinda Hobson. My third great grandmother Mary Ellen Woods was a firstborn. There were two other aunts, however many degrees of great aunts. So at the time it was her and two younger sisters. And I guess sometime after that, a few more children had been born, including a younger brother. And it was him who got married to one of the however many degrees of aunts that Grandpa Stalls and I guess they called her Grandma Stalls. Yeah, my mother always talks about Grandpa Stalls, and then she talks about Eva Toombs, but they were married. But yeah, he married one of those sisters, a sister of, my great or great great grandmother. Now, when my mom talked about Grandpa Willie, physically, she said he was really light, like really light. I think his eyes were like grayish. She said that he would have been able to pass if he didn't have like a broad nose. And I think his hair, I don't want to say, she still talks about kinky hair, nappy hair. It sounded like he had type 4 hair. But yeah, again, I think, my mom, she's got the 4A hair, and I'm not sure anyone on her side is really more tightly coiled than 4A. So yeah, he may have had some type 4 hair, and he had a broad nose, but because like I remember asking, was he lighter than Mama Susie? She's like, yeah, he was much lighter than Mama Susie. Okay, so I knew that before I found his parents. And then I see this 1870 record of his grandparents, and they're all listed as mulatto. And I know that can mean a lot of things in 1870. But that's how they were classified. And the two of them, so I've got a set of fourth great grandparents who were a roadblock. So, yeah. So that's, I think that's everybody. And again, like my father's side, I'm just gonna keep going back till I find an ethnicity, till I find some land. And, and if there's a ship, give me the name of the ship, give me the ship ledger, give me the manifest, give me the itinerary, the cargo listing, give me the stuff if there's a ship. But so far I ain't found any ships, even on my Igbo side, on my daddy's side. But yeah, I'm taking a break. I ran out of money. So yeah, when I talk about how I got started, I'm gonna talk about why I stopped, because I ran out of money. But yeah, I'm out of money, so I'm not looking, and I'm writing a book on a completely different thing. I'm writing a book about my health and birth story. I gotta do that. But But yeah, I need to find my ethnicities, my ancestral home. And if there's land, if the land was freely given, okay, that's fine, but show me. And if the land was snatched, you're gonna show me that too, so I can get it back. But yeah, that's everybody. I was able to get my mother's great-grandfather's people in my mother's grandfather's people in this one video. Baby sleeping. And yeah, so that's where I am. I still have more video ideas. It just won't be about my ancestry till I found a breakthrough. But yeah, like I was mentioning before, the farther back I go, the farther east they are. And yeah, when I saw the one record, prospective record of my fourth great-grandfather, and it's mentioned in Virginia. So like, this is, what I mean when you have to like look at when did states come into the Union. If he's from Virginia, he may not necessarily be from Baltimore. He could be from present day West Virginia, but back then it was still Virginia. I forgot what year. I see another stroller and the dad's shirt is off. I'm so sorry I got distracted. I'm sorry, Robert. I got distracted by the shirtless dad with the stroller. But yeah, I don't know. I can't just say what year West Virginia separated from Virginia, but that's the kind of stuff that I look for. Because if a record says Virginia, but it predates when they separated, then it could be valid, because geographically it's not very far from central Kentucky. So it is feasible. Now, if it was like Richmond, Baltimore, then I'm gonna have to ask, but people didn't migrate like that. I'm gonna do I've got some ideas, and one of them will be migration patterns. Like if you're from the coast, yeah, it's more possible and feasible to have, a slave ship from Africa in your narrative. But if you're back to 1829 and you've got fourth great grandparents or even third great grandparents who were born before the war, he's up and I'm moving. Hey, Bubba. Yeah, if you got people born in the central interior part of this geographical landmass, talk to me. You can't tell me nothing about no ship. And the things were banned in 1808. Yeah, I'm getting ahead. I'm about to make another video. But yeah, that's where I wanted to end. Just let you know, my mom's side of the family, because I told you she's got more people, so I need more time. And yeah, so that's where I am. So I'll let y'all know. I will update you when I can, but there's going to be a few more other related videos between now and then. So thanks for listening and watching. And if you got questions, feel free to question in the comment. I ain't got time for trolls. I told y'all that in the car video. But yeah, thanks everybody. Take care.